Hello and welcome to Mr. E's Watch Reviews. Today we have something new and special. Well, it's new to me anyways. This is my good friend Mr. K's Rolex GMT Coke. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. It's a 2005 model. It's the last year that they actually had the Coke. It doesn't have the drill lugged holes. Let's see. It does have the bi-directional bezel. You know, this one does feel pretty good. It feels like it could use a servicing. I was getting after Mr. K because he was telling me, oh man, it just sits in my sock drawer. I'm like, you're killing me, dude. You got a $15,000 watch that sits in your sock drawer. And, you know, I can tell that somebody used to wear this watch a lot, you know, like quite a bit. It needs to be good and cleaned. You know, it is what it is. We ain't mad at them. I mean, I'm a little jealous of them, but, you know, we're not mad at them. But, you know, you guys already know all the dimensions. We'll go inside here in just a few minutes and bust out the micrometer. I just wanted to get to somewhere where y'all could really see this thing in the good sunlight, because it is just absolutely fabulous. You know, the red on the bezel is still just bright red. I mean, it is bright red. You know, it doesn't have that fade, which I know a lot of people are like, oh man, the patina, this, that. I like all my stuff that looks new still. And Keith is the same way. I tell you right now, if you ever see any of his cars, he's got two cars that got probably 250,000 miles on them, and they both look like they rolled off the showroom floor, and they're both Hondas. So he's a big Honda nut. Loves his Hondas, takes real good care of them, keeps his Rolex in the sock drawer. Alright, we're gonna go inside and get some measurements off here and throw this thing on the time grapher, see how it's doing. Now see, that's, I wish y'all I got that on camera. My man just said he uses his Rolex cleaning cloth, you know, with the nice R on it, to clean the screen in his Honda Civic Type R. They both got the big R, you know, and yeah. So, anyway, as you guys can see, this watch is actually running quite well, especially for being 15 something years old, and never seen it, you know, never been back to the Rolex dealer once it left. It definitely needs to go and get serviced. You can see some of the gunk down here in between the stuff in the bracelet, but it is what it is. My man likes to wear his watch, you know. Apparently not. I said I can't stop going back to the sock drawer, man. It's killing me. Coke GMT in the sock drawer. But let's give y'all the dimensions on this thing real fast. Alright, set that back over there off to the side. Let's see. Saying it's going to be the 40 mil bezel. They say 39.7, but 40 mil. Ooh, I can see that Lume. Let's try it this way. Yeah, this is 39.9. Oh, it's below the bottom edge. It's 39.7. All right, we know that should be 20 mil right there. Yeah, 20 mil on the nose. Measure the case. 12 mil. 13.2 at the Cyclops. And at 47.6 wingtip to wingtip. This one does have the proper stamped clasp with just the micro adjust. There's no diverging extension down here. Again, you can see this gunk and crud needs to be cleaned off. This thing is a very nice watch. I mean, it fits very good to the skin. Feels very comfortable. Mr. Keith has got a little bit larger wrist than myself. But now, Keith, you said that your dad got this up in, what was it, Fairfax?
county-wise, yeah.
Fairfax County, Virginia.
Tyson's Corner, if I do recall.
Ah, Tyson's Corner. Yeah, that's right out there, right next to Fairfax.
However you pronounce the name of this store.
There we go. Linkersdorfer. Good lord, that sounds German or Swedish like a champ. Linkendorfers. Alright, and there you go. Purchased on 1/20/06. You can tell that was done by a female. The way that like the handwriting is. Or is that your dad's? Is that your dad's handwriting, or is that?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I mean, it's very, you know, if it is for a guy, that's very very nice handwriting. But yeah, there we go. The original style and everything. Yep. Got all the paperwork. We got the box. Let's go ahead and see that box real fast. We actually had to almost pry the box open. It had not been opened since 2006. So this thing here, it is just pristine on the inside. Look at all that. You got a nice little hang tag. I don't even want to touch anything because my fingers are just so naturally oily and greasy because of what I do for a living. Got the nice little, you gotta look at it just right, logos, and they change. Swiss certified chronometer. Man. So we come to several of the things that me and Keith were talking about earlier, and like what a lot of people find themselves, you know, in the predicament of. Sorry, he's got all the cool Rolex Oyster booklets and stuff, and I've seen copies and face of these, so I got a real good idea of what's in here. But it is actually nice to see the real ones. Factory service, the care of your Rolex. Send it to us and give us millions of dollars. Doesn't matter, you paid millions of dollars already, but pay it to us annually as we maintain it. Wow. Alright, so back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Man, I forgot. Damn it. I hate it when that happens. Oh, yeah. I remember what it was. So, when you're somebody like myself and you've gone to the AD and the AD doesn't have anything, time and time again, Fink's Jewelers, Virginia Beach, never has nothing. They don't ever have anything in their showcase. You know, they'll act like they're interested in maybe selling you something if something ever comes in, but, you know, I can guarantee you, especially unless I throw on one of my suits and go in there trying to look extra spiffy, they're not going to sell me no Rolex. They're going to look at me and be like, no. So I don't have time to spend time or money to spend on buying watches that I don't care to own, I don't want, and I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on in order to get the thing that I do want. You know, as much as I would love to be able to just get a brand new Rolex from my Fink's AD, that's just not going to happen, I don't think. So then you're left with going and possibly, you know, getting something like this, you know, off the gray market. This watch is going for right around like $15,000-$16,000. The market is down and it's still that much, you know. So then you're faced with, okay, now me personally, I like the slimmer lugs. I do like the way the aluminum bezel looks, but I like the ceramic bezel because of the durability. I want the glide lock. I also want the solid link bracelet, not the hollow link bracelet. You know, and all that comes as a price. You know, I wouldn't mind having a Coke bezel, but obviously, again, this is the last year for that. So if you wanted a Coke bezel, this is it. You don't get it in the ceramic. You know, And with that being said, you know, like I would rather have the Batman, so I could get one of the newer ones that has the glide lock and the ceramic and all that stuff. And again, if I could get it for the 10,500 that it's supposed to be, then that wouldn't be so bad. But I was at the gray dealer, Long's, over here in Virginia Beach, and they had a brand new GMT Batman. Not this one. This is a Pagani. But they had this one, you know, this style and everything like that, in there, unworn, 2 years old, 20,500, 10 grand over the original retail price. I just no, I can't justify that. I can't do it. You know, it's like my buddy Keith says, it's just a watch. You know, and that's how he looks at this thing. Is just, you know, he knows it's worth a buttload of money, and I'm sure if somebody came along and was like, man, here's that 16 grand, he'd probably be like, here you go. But maybe not because it's actually got sentimental value for him, but even then, it's, you know, it was given to him for, like, in case you ever need to liquidate it, you need money real bad kind of thing. So, you know, it's only worth what it's worth to somebody who's willing to pay for it. You know what I mean? You know, because Keith, I don't know, man. Would you pay 15,000?
I'll take the 1999 Casio at Walmart. Watch is a watch.
Yeah, see, my man said he'd go to Walmart and get the Casio, the 1999 special. He's good to go. Now, he don't go cheap on his cars and stuff. Like I said, you know, it almost killed me because he got a car for his kid, and it wasn't none of the cool cars that he normally drives, and all of a sudden he pulled up in the driveway. I'm like, oh Lord, please don't tell me you done, you know, got talked into selling everything awesome and driving an econo box. He's like, oh no, the gutless wonders for the child. So I guess it's smart choice. Don't give him nothing that'll really scoot up and down up the road. But let's see if we can't get a Lume shot on this thing, because I see it trying to glow. Alright, so there's the Lume, all nice and bright. Let it get charged up in the sunlight. That stuff is popping. And since I probably won't get another chance, I'm going to grab my Geno's and we're going to have a little shootout real fast on the Lume. And of course, we're going to do a comparison Lume shot. Here we got silent service on the left. We got the GMT Rolex in the middle. And then we got the OR2 over there on the right. Now, I'm going to admit, disappointingly enough, we had to run the Rolex back outside. Like, basically, I come in, started to do the individual Lume shot, and say, oh, let me grab the other watches. Walked right out in the garage, grabbed the other two, went outside for a minute just to let them get charged into the daylight. And by the time I got back, it was noticeably dimmer on the Rolex. Now, I don't have the patience or the time to sit here and try and hold the camera for minutes and minutes and minutes on time or on end. But just in the minute that I've been doing this, you can notice a significant difference in the brightness of that Rolex. Again, it's 15 years old and I had to double check, but I want to say that the Lume paint on that one was C1, which was it's really good and has a long-term lasting effect. It's just the overall brightness drops drastically at first and then just has a kind of a low dull hue after that. Because even so, you can see where the other two are, again, not quite as bright as walking in right out of the sunlight. But let's go back out into the garage. Okay, so all in all, absolutely beautiful watch. We threw it on the scale. As it's sized up right now, it's only weighing at like 125.6 grams, which is actually a lot lighter than I thought it would be. You know, it is what it is, because this one has the hollow links. You know, in comparison to the Janot, just put the two side by side, OR2. You see how similar the two are. You know, one thing again, you know, this watch is needing of service. The bezel is a little gritty, but again, it you can feel it. It definitely has that buttery smoothness, and like, actually the more I've moved it, the better it's gotten. But like I've said in the past, that this right here, it's spot on. You know, like, it is every bit as good as this Rolex here next to it. And I know that this one is not performing, you know, as good as one would hope, but it definitely does still feel good. Now, one thing I will say, this crown is really hard to grip. It is teeny tiny, especially in comparison to like that one. You can just see the difference. This one is much more acceptable. This is just tiny. And I got good pincher fingers, so you know, that definitely says something. It's hard to grip. And again, you know, like I was talking about earlier with the whole having to go back in years and stuff like that, you know, this is just a regular stamped clasp, you know, which again at the time was the standard, you know, but in comparison to what they offer today, it's a little bit of a letdown, and especially when you're talking about, you know, what they want for this watch. I mean, yeah, this is not a very impressive clasp. You know, I'm just not super wow. But again, that's why I like the newer versions of it. You know, all in all, you know, I would love to own this watch. I would love to have this in my collection, but would I pay that amount of money for it? No. You know, the original price tag of this watch, yeah, I could see, you know, paying that kind of a price for it. But, you know, in its old age, the Lume does not last nowhere near as long as you would want it to. The bracelet is just, you know, lightweight and kind of thin, and I hate to say this, but almost kind of cheap in comparison to like the newer stuff. You know, so I mean, like that's the whole qualm. You know, it's like, I don't know, the whole conundrum with the Rolex. You know what I mean? You get a 30-year-old watch, you're still going to pay what you're paying for a new one retail. And, you know, for vintage and collectors and people that need to have each and every variation of said watches, like I said, I can understand that. And for some people, this is the be-all end-all with aluminum bezel, 40 mil, and, you know, this bracelet. Like I said, to me, if I got this watch, I would at least upgrade the bracelet to the glide lock. And honestly, with that, I would be happy, you know, just because that way I would still have this one in the box, so the watch would be able to hold its value, but that way I could have my glide lock and eat my cake too. But at any rate, I can't thank Mr. K enough for bringing this thing over and let me check it out and show it to you guys. It's an absolute thrill and honor to be able to, you know, show you guys a real Rolex, not just a Folex that got run over by the F-150. But I hope you guys liked the video. Please like and subscribe. Check us out next time. Later.